Welcome to TIA Talks. My name is Jason, and I'm with two people that are now famous because they've been on national TV. I've got Daryl and Linah. Welcome. You guys put the fear of God in me because you are judges on TIA, The Insurance Apprentice. Now on SABC 3, 7 p.m. Thursdays. I got it right this time. Last time I said Wednesdays. So we'll just listen to TIA Talks on a Wednesday. But guys, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
I am really scared, actually, and a little bit nervous, just purely because actually, I'm going to start with you, Daryl, because
Go on, ladies first, Jason.
No, I have to start. I have to start with Daryl. Firstly, Daryl, you guys, actually, no one knows who you are. So maybe tell me who you are first and tell our listeners who you are, and then we can get into
It's probably better that way. I can't take the Fifth Amendment on this.
No, tell us who you are first, and then we'll jump in.
Darryl Grater. I've been in the insurance industry since I was 18 years old. Currently work at Discovery, going just over 13 years now.
Trying to work out how old you are now.
Yeah, it's the grays and the beard should give it away. But really absolutely indebted to the insurance industry for everything that it's unlocked for me personally. And then I think just, personally, I take great pride in working in this industry, considering what we do for the economy. Without insurance, there'd be no construction, no imports, no exports, no trade. Insurance really is not just a hedge for the economy, but it really is an enabler.
Yeah.
And I think each and every one of us in this industry should be very proud of what we and what our teams, do on a day-to-day basis for South Africa and just globally.
Sure. That was a real discovery answer of who Darryl Grater is. I love it. Everyone, Vitality is available as well, Daryl, actually, you were a judge in the previous season of TIA when I was on the show. And we weren't on TV, so I'm a little bit bleak about that. But there was one moment where you were outside that it was just a casual, it was probably for a vape, to be honest, or something. But we stood outside and we were chatting, and I was quite nervous on the day. I don't know if you'll remember this, but probably not. But I was very nervous, and we had a brief, quick little conversation. And what you said to me, I'll never forget. It was like, don't worry, you've got this, just chill. Like that, literally, because you were one of the judges on the day. And I know it sounds so random, but as a contestant, we are very nervous when we get in front of you.
Sure.
And when you step outside in those social moments, we want to get every little straw that we can to think like, are we going to get through to the next round?
Yeah.
And that made me very confident, even if it was just, just chill. You're bugging me now. I'm trying to relieve my own stress here. I'm not working at Discovery right now because I've got TIA to do. Thank you for that. You are the Chief Growth Officer at Discovery.
Discovery Insure, yeah.
Discovery Insure. What does that mean?
So effectively, I'm responsible for leading distribution and growth for the business, for the non-life business in South Africa, as well as the expansion globally for Vitality Drive.
Sure.
So we really enable retail distribution. We also have our own internal corporate structure where we reach out to the corporate brokering market. And really, it's a really new business and growth.
Yeah.
To put very simply.
And you get all that new business from brokers, I would assume?
72% comes from a broker.
Sure.
28% is direct.
Yeah.
But Discovery back from 1992 when the business started primarily as a health insurer before life and invest and bank, etc. came about. With Insure, Discovery was built off the back of the financial advisor and the intermediary.
Sure.
So it truly is a cornerstone of our business.
And speaking of cornerstones in the broker space, Linah, welcome. What is the solution? What is the solution?
Is that what I'm known for?
Oh my word, Linah, you were crazy good at being a judge on the first episode of TIA. I think it was incredible.
Thank you.
But I want to find out who Linah is. So who are you?
Sure.
What do you do? And I jumped off the broking thing. Okay, so
was that intentional?
That was intentional.
Fantastic. So I'm Linah Mabena, the CEO of Standard Bank Insurance
Chief
Brokers.
Executive.
Us insurance people in acronyms. Yes, Chief Executive, Standard Bank Insurance Brokers. And really we play that role, providing that one-stop shop for customers, whether it's a short-term need, whether it's a long-term need. And our short-term offering is really both personal and commercial. But we also hold a number of binders where we perform functions beyond just selling. that includes really handling the customer's portfolio from the time we onboard them till the time when they have a claim. Because our role is really to protect what matters the most to the customers. And the defining moment is a claim, right? I mean, we know insurance as a grudge purchase, and I hope that we are continuously changing one step at a time. But really the defining moment is when there is a claim. So our role is also to actually just facilitate where we don't hold the binder to pay claims, but where we pay claims, we really drive and make sure that we are there when the clients or customers need us the most. We actually are a big broker. We hit over 4 million policies in 2025. Thank you.
I was going to put JVC on the mark and see where we're at, but never mind.
Yeah, over 4 million policies, which is a huge milestone. Huge. So we are really excited. And we also actually were voted for our funeral flexi product. I'm not sure if you guys missed it. Yeah. We were voted the best product, funeral product in the market by consumers. That is big. So we are very excited, and we continue to just evolve and really look for those solutions that are innovative. We know that the world is moving. We know that there's a lot of obviously questions around whether you do need a broker. Do you actually need a broker? I think you are continuously going to need a broker.
You always need advice.
We are there to just break down that code, that insurance code, that complicated code. Help the client understand those fine terms so that when there is a claim, there's no surprises.
Sure. I think you've touched on a binder a few times, and I think some of our listeners don't know what that is. But you also mentioned large broker, and I think a lot of large brokers are binder holders for people that don't know, and that just helps facilitate the process that the insurance company would have.
Absolutely.
And now it's on the broker's shoulders, and that's why they can actually help you and assist you, because they have those agreements with the insurance companies.
Absolutely.
I think I've touched on that.
You have summed it up so well.
Okay, because we also binder brokers. Okay, anyway, so let's talk about TIA. Okay, guys, you did a fantastic job as to scare the lights out of most of the contestants there. There was one point in the show where, Daryl, you mentioned, that's illegal. Someone said something. I just want to, before we even get into the task and why it was illegal and all of that stuff, the actual contestants, I just want to know from you guys the caliber of those contestants. Now that we are actually on TV, now that it's like nationwide, how have they stepped up to the plate? And be honest. This is the honest place, and a safe space. No one will know other than my listeners and you guys. What do you guys think of these contestants, and have they stepped up?
The ladies first now.
Whoever wants to go.
I'll take it.
Who wants? Yes, let's do it.
So some have, and obviously some didn't. Some did, some didn't. And I guess if you watched the episode, you would have seen that. From group 1 to group 3, there was a point where I thought, this is a complete waste of my time, actually. Until we got to group 4. And if you actually just go through the presentation and you listen to the thought process, they actually got the brief. Because it's about that.
Yeah.
I think with the other groups, really, they rushed to solution without really understanding the task and the problem statement. And that's where they missed it. The top 10 that we selected, I think they are really, really, really good, strong candidates. And there was a comment made at the end to say, we would actually be very happy if any of them end up being the winner, because we think those are the people that have it. They are in it to win it, hopefully. And let's see what happens as we progress.
Yeah, those top 10, I always try and picture myself in there, and then I realized I got kicked out 5. So I still think, that's still, those guys, I'm kind of test myself against each one. And it's not a thing of, I can beat them, but it is. And then there's a point where I'm like, oh no, I can't beat that guy. Wow. I'm done, So, and I've realized this top 10, they're super qualified. They know what they're talking about when it comes to just experience and what they've done on the job. So I'm actually quite excited to see what goes on. Daryl, you were involved in actually creating the task.
Yeah.
Discovery sponsored that first episode. Right. And it was great because we got to see your building. Everyone loves it. But it was a great backdrop to the actual first episode. It was like the premiere, and I think that the brand Discovery was great to have attached to that episode. Yeah, tell me about the task and actually how you kind of put it together.
Yeah, that's a great question. So look, everything that Discovery stands for is really about something we call shared value. And shared value is effectively where you can richly reward and incentivize customers to reduce risk behavior, thereby bringing down their insurable risk. And I think just those savings that are realized by the insurer in terms of decreased loss ratios get shared back into society, right? So it followed a similar veil. And the task on hand was really about asking the delegates or the apprentices to design a product where there could be a risk reduction element with incentives, something that was good for society, and very importantly, something that addressed the gap in the insurable market in South Africa. I won't regurgitate the stats, but a large majority of assets in South Africa are actually not insured.
Yeah.
And many of them that are very underinsured. And it's a systemic issue in our society. I think it's really centrally linked to financial literacy in most cases. So that was the backdrop of the task that we created.
Yeah, I think it was really cool. I just find that I just don't understand how they didn't get it. I thought it was such a clearly worded task. And I mean, you're in the building. You're doing a discovery kind of task, there's shared value.
Could have Googled it.
Yeah, you could have Googled it and be like, okay, wait, what is vitality? And then you would have known, and you could have just plugged it in and play. I think there obviously is so much more. And listeners, viewers at home would be going nuts, with the first couple of groups that went. Like, what are you talking about? Because I actually agreed with you, Linah, when you said, what is the solution? I just didn't know what they were talking about.
Wow.
And I noticed that the editing, I must just credit Flash Forward Productions, the editing. There were some contestants, they didn't even speak. Because I honestly think they probably didn't really say much that was toward the solution.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I was shocked by that. And
it's nerves, right?
It is nerves.
I mean, to your earlier point, they're technically strong individuals. They've been in the market for years. They're not green and wet behind the ears.
Yeah.
But I mean, to Linah's point, I think the first three groups were somewhat disappointing, where just the value proposition that they were offering to the market just didn't come through.
Yeah.
And I think it was only really group 4 that kind of pulled it together. It's also a very limited time frame that they get to present.
I mean, they get like 10 minutes, not even?
Yeah, not even.
Yeah.
And I mean, the one group had 2 minutes to spare. But they hadn't even offered. Yeah. They didn't really share what they were offering to the market, the distribution model.
Yeah.
Besides the illegality.
Yeah. Okay, what was illegal? What was illegal? It is illegal. What was legal?
So the short term, insurance is actually quite unique. If you look at financial products, insurance is quite unique. Where in the Insurance Act, there's a term called inducement. Now, in some financial products, you can induce a sale. So you can say, take this product out and you will get this sweetie.
Yeah.
Right? The Short-Term Insurance Act is very specific to forbid inducements. So you cannot encourage or incentivize a policyholder to take a policy in any form or shape unless that incentive directly relates to risk management and risk reduction. So you can't just give people vouchers because they take out a policy.
I see.
It's illegal, right?
Okay.
And you get fined by the regulator for it.
Sure.
It becomes like a public sort of press release. It's a big deal.
Wow.
So that was...
Okay. Did that person get kicked out? I think so, yeah?
They did.
Okay. I'm saying it like I could have won, but really, guys, this you touched on it. There was the nerves do play a factor. I mean, there was one episode where I was in the middle of speaking and I had a brain fart in the middle of it, and I literally just didn't know what I was saying. I had to collect myself and kind of regroup and say what I had to say, and it worked out in the end. I lasted that episode. The next one I was home, but it was the first time I actually presented in front of a group. I came from a brokerage, so we never really had to present other than to clients. Yep. I didn't have to do staff presentations and, this is the project where we had to. So I've never ever done it. And I think a lot of the guys there, some of them, I mean, the one guy's an accountant. Yeah. He's never ever presented like properly to like a board. Yeah. He's just done the stuff behind his desk, but he's got something. And we're going to see that, I think, going forward. The nerves slowly come down. Yeah. But I think, or what do you think? Do you think it gets better?
No, but you're touching on something very critical. They were all put into teams or groups, And when you are faced with such a challenge, it's important to actually just pause and identify each other's strengths, because we all have different strengths, and play to each other's strengths.
It's a team thing.
To your point, I mean, if you have never presented and you're not comfortable, we shouldn't actually force you to present because that's not your strength. And I think that's where some of the groups actually missed it. They actually went into their rooms and rushed to the solution without firstly saying, can we just go around and understand each other's strengths?
Yeah.
What are you good at? What are you good at? It's a quick 30-minute exercise.
I remember we did that.
And based on that, then say, if you've done this and you're comfortable, this is your role. Role allocation, role clarification is absolutely critical when you're faced with such a challenge. Then you have someone who is comfortable, who's done presentations before, actually presenting, because your opening statement is your defining moment.
And if you've actually realized that person's got a skill that can do that, maybe it'll win you guys over.
Yeah, it draws you because you want to hear more,
It's
right?
definitely an asset, right?
Yeah.
So I think most of them actually missed it. If you again go to group 4, the guy that started presenting, can't remember his name, actually put forward a very powerful opening statement.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this
Let
is
me
now
hear more.
interesting.
Yeah.
I want to hear more. Where is this going? And that is absolutely key.
Sure. But I think it's funny you mentioned the teamwork aspect, because I think that a lot of people forget that it's a team game, even though you're competing individually.
Sure.
And I think we're going to see the individual play in a team, hopefully, going forward, because I'm quite interested to see the dynamics.
Team dynamics,
because they all are strong personalities. I mean, we've had previous seasons where a couple of the guys were going to just sit back, kind of work through the tasks, be the support role.
Yeah.
All of these guys want the lead. I mean, I've never seen so many people ask for the leadership.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'll do it. It's fine. Don't worry. I mean, my mom helped me with some of my projects at school, and that's like where it ended, She works for me now and she does some of my work too, but let's not talk about that.
Now I want to hear more.
No, you guys don't ask the questions. I ask the questions. Actually, speaking of which, Daryl, there's some personal stuff that happened like literally yesterday.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, it was a surprise. You, for her, you got engaged. Congratulations.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I appreciate it. Yeah. For someone who's an insurance professional and very much about risk reduction, I clearly didn't follow through.
Yeah. Just let her drive. Don't worry.
I've increased my risk exposure. No, I'm kidding. No, she's a phenomenal woman, and I'll be very excited.
Congratulations.
Wow.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I'm waiting for that invite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the wedding.
To the wedding,
Yeah.
that is.
Not to the engagement party. Let's be real.
No,
I
that's
thought
done.
you meant to the insurance conference next week.
Oh, insurance
Definitely
conference.
going there. But
For those of you who
meant
don't
for
know,
the
there's like a
wedding.
massive insurance conference. I'm not going to mention anyone unless they sponsor me, so I'm not going to say anything. But there's a massive one, and us little brokers don't get invited to it. I'm just saying.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's all you insurers that go and the big
I'm a broker
brokers.
and I'm
The
going.
big brokers.
You do get invited. You just need to pay the fees.
Yeah, okay.
Or we can sponsor the
Okay.
fees.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. We'll take a break right there for some coffee, because I'm going to negotiate with them, and we'll be right back. Oh, that was great.
Fantastic.
The insurance industry is changing fast. The way we work, the risks we face, and clients' expectations are evolving every single day. That's where Sapiens comes in. They're building cutting-edge technology that helps insurers stay ahead, streamlining processes, reducing inefficiencies, and making the entire experience smarter. If you're in the industry, this is the tech you need to know about. Learn more at sapiens.com.
I'm not going to mention names, but by far, I mean, I've been a judge for a couple of years on this show, and I think this was the cohort that sort of raised the level. I think just looking at expertise, ability to present, sort of EQ, engaging, the crowd and navigating the complexity of the tasks. I think this is one of the better years in terms of what was brought to the table.
Sure.
But that's all I'll say, to be inclusive and democratic.
Yeah. Well, I think there was a level up. Just I met them all at the premiere, all the contestants. And when I spoke to them, I was like, I don't even understand what you're talking about. Like half of the terms and stuff they use were like proper jargon, And I was actually blown away by the people that they are. They're actually really cool people.
Yeah.
I have a favorite or two, and I'm not going to mention
No,
it
please don't.
because I have to vote, like all the listeners. Exactly. I wanted to ask, just in terms of TIA and the meaning behind it, because it does do a lot for the industry. It does a lot for consumers. It does a lot for the people that are actually wanting to enter into the industry and develop and things like that. I find that the judges are seen on one side of the table being quite mean and quite harsh and being a critic. But what they don't see is the guidance and the support and actually the results of that criticism, which actually I'm one of them. I couldn't speak or I could present, but I had that little moment and I'm sitting here now interviewing you, and that's because of judges that have supported me, that have helped me, that encouraged me when I actually did fail. And we all fail, and I think the contestants, I know that you guys do a lot of coaching on the side and they're not actually that scared of you, only when they really present. But I wanted to kind of touch on the deeper meaning of TIA and really that encouragement and that empowerment that we're trying to just reach the nation with. What is on your guys' heart in this industry that we could maybe potentially look at changing? And what burden do you have in this industry that you actually, you know what, this needs to change and I can actually be part of it, and people can get involved at home, that they can actually say, look, this is an industry I want to work for and be a part of. And actually, there might be a psychologist that didn't know that you could be in the insurance industry, and I know that there are psychologists at Discovery, So, I don't know, Linah, do you want to take the lead on this?
For me, there's probably three reasons. The first one is really around consumer education. I mean, if you look at the stats, which some were highlighted during the presentations, the insurance gap in SA, under insurance, a real challenge, and just a basic understanding of insurance and why insurance is important. I mean, if some customers are given with the choice of paying insurance and actually just using that money to go on holiday, they'll probably go on holiday instead of paying insurance. But how do we actually educate the customers to change the narrative? Because think about the amount of money you spend acquiring your assets, and that can actually be wiped off overnight.
Can bankrupt you.
We saw what happened with the fires. We saw what happened with the floods. The weather patterns are changing. The riots in KZN, and you could actually lose it all just overnight. How do we start educating the customers that insurance is a necessity? But also, how do we educate the customers that it's not only for a selected few? That one big TV screen that you acquired, where you've worked for years to acquire that TV screen or that car, it's important that you protect it. The second piece is around the skills gap in the insurance industry. I think this program is actually a fantastic way to accelerate some of the growth that we require in the industry, but also to start building some of the skills that are lacking. I mean, I don't think, and maybe that's why some of the groups struggle, because you kind of need a lot of insurance understanding to be part of this, of this challenge, because every problem that is actually placed before you evolves around just insurance understanding. So if you think you're going to come in here and you come in with the mentality just to win the challenge, it's not going to happen. And that's why people crack, and that's why some of the solutions do not make sense, because actually lack that insurance deep understanding of the solution. So hopefully the work that we're doing, or the work that is happening, is really starting to address some of the skills gap that we are seeing, because we're all going to exit the system at some point, and we need to start building up that next level of leadership.
It's almost like an industry succession plan.
Absolutely, right? Absolutely. But the third one is around transformation. We know that our industry is not very transformed. How do we actually start having more of the leanness in those positions, so that we again start building the succession from a transformation program. And I'm talking for females because I'm very passionate about actually just building up, because this industry has been known to be very male dominated because, it's technical, it's difficult. So how do we actually just demystify that myth to say, actually, it's not. If you are in it and you're committed and you're willing to learn and you're willing to work hard, actually you can get in and you can make a career out of it. I did not actually plan to end up in insurance. I did not actually plan and went to school and say, I'm working because I want to work in insurance. No.
But it's changed now. I think people will say that.
It just happened, right?
Yeah.
But it is our responsibility to actually change it, to make people to want to make a career out of it. So that is absolutely critical. And I think if this can achieve those three things, then I'll be happy.
Yeah, I think TIA is just the window to it.
Yeah.
I think it's the starting point, and I hope the conversation can, and that was the purpose behind TIA Talks, that we can continue the conversation after the show's been had, because I feel like there are problems that we can solve, and and we have solutions available already in the nation somewhere where we can actually plug and play, and someone wants to help a Discovery or a Standard Bank insurance brokers or whoever try and solve something. I really dig that. Where can people actually send if they really want to help and kind of get in touch with you guys? Is there a platform where they can get in touch, or do they just email us on TIA Talks and then we can send it out?
I think it's safe.
Let's do that.
Also to reach out on LinkedIn, let's say.
It's LinkedIn.
Okay, well, there you go. LinkedIn is a great one. I think if you are a professional, if you're a listener, we've got, I will set this up actually. I'll set up an email address for TIA Talks, and any ideas, solutions, whatever, bring them in, and then we'll share it with our judges and our hosts of alumni that we have on TIA, and we'll see if we can generate some ideas and solutions from this. I think I'm going to run with that. Thanks for giving me that idea. Okay, Daryl, do you have anything that you want to add to kind of the issue that we face and kind of solutions that you might...
I mean, I don't want to regurgitate what Linah said. I think those really are the golden threads. In South Africa, and I'm stereotyping, forgive me, but we do have a financial literacy issue across, it cuts across demographics, wealth levels, LSMs, geographies. And I just don't get a sense people understand the value of insurance. It's not an expense. It's really an investment into your future, paying those premiums. Irrespective of whether it's life, health, non-life, business, etc. I think what I would love to see TIA unlock over time is for more South Africans to be curious about the intentions of insurance products.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah.
Why is it beneficial? Why it's actually not a grudge purchase. I'll use an example. I know someone who's incredibly wealthy, inherited a lot of money from her late father, owns multiple hotels and guest houses. She's under the age of 40, but she doesn't insure a car.
This is not your new fiance, eh?
No.
Okay, just in case, because
no, but she doesn't insure, insure a car, right?
Yeah.
She paid for it cash. She's got enough money in the bank, to buy another one if, God forbid, something happens.
Yeah.
But from a financial literacy perspective, when I sat down and said, but what if you drive into a Ferrari tomorrow?
Yeah.
Your car's at maybe a couple 100,000, but do you want to spend 6 million rand?
Yeah. Of your own money.
Of your own money on the third party damage.
And maybe some injuries.
Exactly. And she was a bit shocked because she hadn't considered that.
Yeah.
But I make this example because it's not a LSM thing or where you grew up. It's a generic issue in South Africa.
Yeah.
And then I think the second part that I think Linah's spot on with is showcasing the value in the labor market of the insurance sector. I mean, I ended up also by accident, so to speak. I was 18 years old. I couldn't afford continuing studying chemical engineering at Tux, so I dropped out of...
So the muscles aren't the only thing about you, Daryl. You got a brain too, eh? Wow.
No muscles.
Sure.
But, I couldn't afford to continue studying, so I dropped out of first year and I started working in the insurance sector when I was 18 years old. And sort of went to business school at night to get my education. But I never grew up thinking I'm going to be an insurance professional. Yeah. And most industry colleagues I speak to have similar stories. Unless you may be an actuary or a CA, where it's a little bit more directional to enter financial services and risk and insurance. But, if you take the insurance sector, and I think Simon Coleman said it at the premiere.
Judge Dredd.
Every single sort sort of specialization is actually employed in the insurance sector.
Yes.
We employ engineers,
Yeah.
we employ doctors,
Yeah.
employ lawyers, actuaries, statisticians,
Yeah.
administration teams. So it doesn't matter what you studied. You actually
There's a job.
There's a job for you in the insurance sector. Where it might be at a reinsurer, might be at a broker, might be at the insurer.
Well, 90% of all actuaries are with you guys.
Yeah.
So
We do like to take the best. But I mean, and I think that's a really critical question when you look at the unemployment rate in this country. It's unfortunate. We need to grow our employment base. The insurance sector can very easily do that if we get better penetration to the market. And by default, we're going to grow our tax base, right?
Yeah,
because that's one of the biggest macro issues we have in our economy.
yeah.
So I think this has an arm to be levered. And I really hope TIA takes it to that next level.
Yeah, I think that's it's so nice to hear kind of an educated answer around these issues, because you guys see it behind the scenes. I know in your positions at your companies, you see the stats, you see what solutions are being driven, what problems are coming out, climate change and all these things that is happening. You see the trends and you're putting things together and you taking the time to be here and to support a random contestant wanting to win 500,000 Rand cash prize or pool or whatever it is. And I think it's actually kudos to you guys. I think the judges don't get enough credit when it comes to the actual role in the industry that you guys are playing. And I'm really appreciative of it. And I think a lot of the guys that have entered can say the same, except if you've kicked them out, then maybe they'll have a little bit of a problem with you.
That's when EQ comes in.
Yeah, there you go. Then they need to just grow. Eh?
Exactly.
Sure. Well, I think we could end there. I could have a fat chat with you guys for another hour or two, but I know there's more judges to come and more guests to come in the weeks to come. So I really do appreciate your time. And Linah, Daryl, it was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Just one comment.
Yes.
To all the contestants. I think as hard as it is very hard. Lots of pressure. Don't forget to have fun, because it's really about the fun element, but also the learning element. Because even if you don't win, I think the learnings that you actually draw out of a competition or a challenge like this can actually set you apart in your career.
I think maybe just for future contestants, I think it's expected they're going to come technically strong. But the last 11 seasons have showed us, there's a lot more focus now on EQ, your ability to integrate EQ into your technical delivery. And really one word that stands out for me is collaboration. Can you collaborate? Can you bite your lip when you've got three alphas in one team and focus on what needs to be done? Can you put egos aside? The strength of communication, simpler is better. But I think EQ is going to be a lot more important in future competitions.
And just one last, what we saw, again, with group 1 to 3, I'm going to keep making reference to them, is rushing to the solution. Spend 70% of the time understanding the problem, then 30% of the time coming up with the solution. Because when you actually understand the problem, it's so easy to come up with the solution and not the other way around.
And then actually communicate the solution.
And properly articulate the solution.
Okay, you heard it here first from the guys with C in their titles. The chiefs in the room have told you what you need to do as a contestant, but also just as a career or a job searcher or any of these guys that, EQ I think is massive. So I think everyone can take away from that. But guys, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.